Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's take a look at the advantages of using different Finder views. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now there are three main views in the Finder that you can use to see and organize your files. You can use Icon View, List View, and Column View. But what are the advantages to using each? Well, first let's take a look at Icon View. Icon View is the only view where you can create your own custom arrangement of your files. All the other views have to be sorted in some way, like by name or date. Here in Icon View, you can actually move the files around and position them two-dimensionally anywhere you want in the window. So this works best when you have a small number of files and say you can group a bunch together like this and have maybe one or another group separate. Here's a situation where that could be particularly useful. Say there's a daily report you need to file and you've got a couple of templates, you've got a log file, maybe you've got some supporting files for that daily report, and then you have a subfolder where you have your filed reports. It could be nice to have them in a layout like this where everything is kind of where you expect to find it. In addition, you can even set the background color. Just go to Show View Options here, and under Background you can set a color or a picture. You can only do that in Icon View. And this gives you a visual indicator that you're in the right place. So this can make it easier to work on a task like this. Another advantage to Icon View are the icons. The icons are typically larger than the ones you would see in List or Column View. So you can get previews of things like images, and this can help you find a file you need faster. It's not the only way to preview files. Of course you can use Quick Look, you can use the right column preview and all of that, but it is a way that some people may prefer. And in fact, if you go to View and then Show View Options, you could change the icon size to make it even larger and easier to preview the files. And I also have to add that one of the main advantages to Icon View is people are just familiar with it. It's been around both on Windows and Mac since the beginning, and a lot of people have just always managed their files this way. So if you're used to seeing your files in Icon View, then switching to List or Column View takes some adjustment. And if your demands aren't that heavy for actually managing files in the Finder, just sticking with what you're familiar with can be a big advantage in itself. Now let's take a look at Column View, which is actually the third view here. Column View has the advantage of easy navigation. So if you start off in a place like your Documents folder where everything is in that folder, then it's very easy to navigate around and to see all of the different folders inside of there. And then in addition, when you have to go even deeper, like here, you can very easily go down levels. So it's very simple to navigate around. It's definitely the best for that. It's also very easy to see the path to a file. So this file here, for instance, you can very easily see that it's located in this folder, which is then located in this folder. And as you can see here, it works really well with the preview column on the right, giving you a preview of whatever file you have selected. Now you can use the preview column in Icon View and in List View as well, but it just works very naturally here in Column View with folders and subfolders in the first columns and then the file that you've selected, and then the column on the right shows the contents of that file. Now List View, the second view, has a bunch of advantages, one of which is that you can clearly see information for each file without having to select it and get info on it. So for instance, for this file here, I can see the date modified, I can see the size, and I can see the kind. And you can easily modify what information you see by just changing the columns. A quick way to do that is to Control click, two-finger click on a trackpad, or right click on a mouse here in one of the column headings, and then you can use the check marks to determine which columns are shown. You could also rearrange the columns very easily. List View is the only view where you can see inside multiple folders at the same time. So for instance, I can look inside this folder and I can look inside this folder and see the contents of both. I can even dig down and look inside folders, inside of folders, inside of folders, all in one list. In Column View, you're only looking at the contents of the last folder to the right, and in Icon View, you're only seeing the contents of one folder. And of course, List View also makes it very easy to sort your files. You can do that in Column View and in Icon View, but with List View, it's just a matter of clicking on the column heading to resort the list very easily. So when choosing between the different views, it's important to understand a couple things. First, it's extremely easy to switch between them. So it's not like you need to go and choose one of the Finder views and then stick with it. You could easily click these buttons up here. You can use Command 1, Command 2, and Command 3 to switch between all of the views. So you can use whatever makes the most sense in that situation. Also, there's a ton of overlap. Like I mentioned, here in List View, you could go to View and then Show Preview, and you get the same preview sidebar here that you do in Column View. If you want to see larger icons here, you can go to View, Show View Options, and you can go to a slightly larger icon size, or you could just use that preview on the right side, or you can use Quick Look to quickly preview the files that you're viewing. So it's not like Icon View is the only way to easily preview files. So there's a ton of overlap, which makes it easy for someone like me to simply stick with List View, the view that I prefer, and it kind of takes care of all of my needs. But which one you prefer probably depends on what you do and just what you like. Other people may prefer Column View, and I actually use Column View for years as my main view. Other people, of course, may like Icon View. As I suggested, it's just something a lot of people are used to. So it's not just a matter of deciding which view is best for you, but whether you'd like to stick with one view most of the time or easily switch between all three of them just to use whatever's best in that situation. I'd love to hear in the comments which of the three Finder views you prefer and why. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.